All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're going on a bit of a psychological and spiritual journey today. I want you to picture the journey of a traveler, someone who starts out completely exhausted by this relentless, heavy pressure to positively manifest every single detail of their reality. Slowly, they travel toward a state of authentic, grounded spiritual union. So, we're going to break down the profound difference between toxic positivity and genuine self-inquiry, and we'll take a clinical look at the real risks of emotional avoidance. It's a journey from the anxious grip of the ego straight into the profound peace of surrender.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're covering the trap of toxic positivity, spiritual bypassing, manifestation anxiety, genuine self-inquiry, detachment and trust, and finally, cultivating a divine relationship.
Section 1. The trap of toxic positivity, forcing a fake smile. Now, putting on my clinical psychologist hat for a second, trying to maintain a relentless 24/7 facade of optimism is actually incredibly dangerous. It leads to this state of hypervigilant, ego-driven goal pursuit. We basically get so obsessed with forcing a positive mindset that we actively suppress our real, difficult emotions. And honestly, that leaves our nervous systems entirely exhausted. A lot of us started our journeys with concepts like the secret, the idea that if you just close your eyes and confidently demand a new car or a perfect partner, the universe is obligated to deliver it. But clinical psychology tells us a very different story. Your subconscious mind will actively reject superficial positive affirmations if they contradict your deeply held core beliefs. So if you command yourself to think, I am incredibly wealthy and successful, but your inner invisible script is screaming that you are unworthy, your brain literally starts a war with itself. Repeating positive phrases over unhealed wounds, that isn't manifestation, that is just emotional avoidance.
And this brings our traveler to a massive realization. What if the goal was never actually about acquiring things? When we chase achievement, money, and status under the guise of spirituality, we almost always end up feeling profoundly empty. True spirituality, as it turns out, is not a cosmic vending machine where you insert positive thoughts and extract wishes. It's really about intimacy, reverence, and cultivating a deep, loving relationship with the Creator.
Moving into stage 2, spiritual bypassing, avoidance in disguise.
So what happens when we try to just forcefully skip over our pain? Well, we fall into a psychological trap called spiritual bypassing. This is a term coined by psychologist John Wellwood, and it shows us how spiritual bypass functions as a wildly powerful defense mechanism. People essentially use spiritual beliefs as a shield against uncomfortable emotions, and very often those with avoidant clinical attachment styles use these beliefs to entirely bypass the messy work of confronting childhood wounds. It creates this impenetrable mask of denial. You might look completely serene and enlightened on the outside, but underneath the surface, you are actively avoiding the difficult inner work, and that absolutely prevents long-term emotional intelligence and personal growth.
This kind of avoidance drops seekers right into what the philosopher Sri Aurobindo called the intermediate zone, and it is a deeply dangerous liminal space. This is where people get stuck in a false sense of enlightenment and spiritual superiority. They might boast about their 10,000 hours of meditation, or operate with this intensely orchestrated faux humility, but they are actually totally trapped in ego and delusion. They're using spirituality to numb out, masking their pain rather than actually healing it.
Which brings us to Section 3, manifestation anxiety, the grip of attachment.
So how exactly does our clinical attachment style influence this obsessive need to control our reality? It's fascinating because the psychology of attachment theory maps directly onto how we pursue our goals. Notice how hypervigilant goal pursuit is totally driven by an anxious attachment style. It's desperately clinging to specific outcomes, which triggers immense manifestation anxiety and rumination. Now contrast that with healthy secure attachment, which is really the emotional equivalent of true detachment. It creates resilience, flexibility, and this beautiful grounded peace. You can desire an outcome, for sure, but you aren't emotionally destroyed if the path unexpectedly changes.
We really have to understand that this anxious attachment to highly specific outcomes stems from a deep-seated scarcity belief. Just listen to that terrified inner voice, the one insisting, if this specific thing doesn't happen exactly the way I planned it, I will never be happy. Because of that, the inner work of true detachment isn't actually about giving up your desires. It's about clinically examining and releasing the scarcity story that's living right beneath them.
Section 4. Genuine self-inquiry, the power of curiosity.
This brings our traveler to the great pivot. If we want to move out of scarcity and emotional avoidance, we have to embrace curiosity as our primary tool for authentic mental transformation. There is a simple but highly effective psychological shift we can make here. Instead of shouting rigid, positive commands at your brain like, I am wealthy and perfect, which, as we know, your subconscious is going to fight, you use interrogative self-talk. You ask questions. How can I grow here? What is this negative emotion actually trying to teach me? Asking questions completely bypasses your brain's resistance and taps into your innate problem-solving creativity. It replaces that toxic positivity with a genuine, gentle curiosity.
To really put this into practice, I'm going to give you 3 rapid-fire journaling prompts designed to transition you from scarcity-based desire directly into present-moment trust. Prompt number 1. What are you genuinely afraid will happen if this specific manifestation doesn't come? Write the answer down honestly. We are embracing those difficult emotions here rather than avoiding them.
Okay, prompt number 2. Look at what you just wrote down and ask, is that fear actually true? Examine it clinically. I bet most of the time you'll find that these fears aren't universal truths at all. They are merely invisible scripts and scarcity beliefs deeply rooted in your past conditioning.
And finally, prompt number 3. How can you redirect your energy to build a life rich enough that no single outcome carries the entire weight of your happiness? Questioning our anxiety like this and actively building multiple sources of joy fosters incredible long-term emotional maturity.
Section 5. Detachment and trust. Releasing the grip.
As our traveler learns to question those fears, they can start replacing manifestation anxiety with concrete, actionable daily rituals of detachment and grounded trust. First up is the Itter Better technique, which is a total game changer. Step 1, you clearly state your intention or desire. Step 2, you deliberately add the phrase, this or something better. And step 3, you genuinely open your mind to receive. This isn't just hedging against failure, it's a profound opening of the channel. It proves to your subconscious that you are practicing genuine detachment from highly specific, ego-driven forms.
Next is the daily surrender ritual. After you complete your visualization, you boldly declare out loud, I release this intention to the universe. You trust the timing, and you immediately shift into a daily gratitude practice. Because appreciation for the present moment is the highest vibrational state, and it is entirely incompatible with anxiety. Ironically, psychology shows us that letting go of this tight, anxious grip actually accelerates achieving your personal goals and fulfillment.
Finally, Section 6, Divine Relationship, Authentic Union.
Here, our traveler arrives at the ultimate destination, authentic spiritual union. Let's really look at what true spiritual maturity actually means. Notice the stark contrast between these two states. Chasing desired outcomes is rooted entirely in ego-driven control, desperately looking externally to fix an internal feeling of scarcity. But cultivating a divine relationship shifts the focus entirely toward internal connection. It's the profound realization that shifting away from external seeking fosters genuine spiritual fulfillment, making you feel completely whole and abundant, exactly as you are right now.
True spiritual maturity is exactly this transition. It's moving away from the arrogant, ego-centered idea that you must aggressively control the whole of reality. It is moving instead toward humble surrender. The ultimate goal isn't extracting wishes from the universe. It is walking around feeling whole and complete in the present moment, securely attached in a loving relationship with the Creator.
Which leaves us with one final, deeply important question to consider today. Are you exhausted from trying to forcefully manifest and control every little detail of your reality? And are you finally ready to let go of the toxic positivity, drop the mask of the ego, and just surrender to a genuine relationship with the present moment? Take some time to sit with that thought. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you on the next one.
That's all for today, beautiful souls. Before you go, if today's message resonated with you, I left something in the description that acts almost like a spiritual mirror. It's a personalized numerology experience that looks at your life path, strengths, repeating patterns, and timing. No pressure, just something fascinating if you enjoy this kind of self-discovery. Check the description if you want to explore it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and follow for more angel number insights, spiritual mindset upgrades, and manifestation wisdom. Thanks for supporting and watching. Have a great day.